Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananja Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadandikam Namashristam Manumapi Sachiputram Mata Sarupam Rupam Tasyagraham Ruparim Maturim Gushtavatim Radha Kundam Grivaramaho Radhika Madhvasam Prapto Yasya Krititikipaya Shri Guruntandatosme. Hey Shri Guru Jnana Radina Bandhu Swanandaratak Koronaka Sindhu Vrindavanasina Hitavatara Prasiddharadha Pranaya Pracharam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadezi Tarane Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Naste Vanaste Vanaste Gatir anyatha Vancha Kopatribhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees who are present today. Hare Krishna, my dear friend Shivaram Swami Maharaj. I'd like to thank you all for coming here and joining on my birthday. We have devotees from all over who have come for this function. We have devotees from the snows of Russia. We have devotees from Central Asia. We have devotees from Europe who have come here. We have devotees from Dubai who have come here. We have devotees from America who have come here. And I'm so deeply thankful to all of you for coming here and just sharing your love with me on my birthday. For me, it's a great honor to be a part of a loving sangha like this. I was touched by all of the offerings that were presented today, and I was especially touched by His Holiness Shivaram Swami's song that he sang, "You've Got a Friend," because we truly need friends in this world. We need good spiritual friends. We need people who are going to stand by our side at every moment of our lives, whether we're having the high moments, whether we're having the low moments. And like I'm thankful for everyone here. I'm thankful that Shiva Maharaj has come. I'm thankful that Ritadvija Maharaj has come. I'm thankful that all the wonderful Kirtaniyas have come. But all of us are inspired by Srila Prabhupada, and so I think the first thanks should be for His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, at least for me, I think for all of us, very, very freely and very kindly and very without discrimination, He has blessed us all with His divine association. Now, at least myself, Srila Prabhupada, entered into my life 55 years ago. And certainly I was not worthy in any way to have the association of such a wonderful person as Srila Prabhupada. But He's given us all gifts that have really formed our character. Not only myself, but everybody who is here. First, He gave us the greatest gift that we could ever receive, and that's the holy name of Krishna. It's been written by Srila Sanatana Goswami that the holy name, Maharaja's song has still got me emotional. The holy name of Krishna is like a mystic potion. And when you take that mystic potion, you can attract the most precious things in creation from a very far place. Meaning Prabhupada, he gave us all Krishna's holy name with the instruction that if we chant this sincerely, we will attract the love of Goloka Vrindavan. Golokara Prem Dham Harinam Sankirtana. Very freely he gave. And this is a mantra, it's like a mystic potion that can attract things from far away. What does this mantra specifically attract, and what does this mantra specifically lead us to? It leads us into the realm of perfection. It leads us into the realm of bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. Just by chanting, if we do this sincerely, we will become so irresistibly attracted to Krishna that Krishna will have to fulfill his obligation of Jai-jatamam prapadyante tangstitaiva vijamyam. Our sadhana will go to that last stage where we will be burning with eagerness and burning with a soul hope only to have one thing, and that's Krishna and his service and the service of his associates. Once Shivaram Swami and I, a long time ago, we were in Budapest, and we were meeting with a great pure devotee. Give me a second to catch my breath. I look like a rakshasa, but I'm actually a very emotional person. No, that's not necessary. Key jais are good, but we don't need that now. we were meeting with this very great pure devotee named Srila Govinda Swami Maharaj. And he was telling us Krishna Katha. And we didn't have much time with him. I think he had to go give a lecture. And he was really impressing, chant purely, please. Hear Krishna Katha. Please hear Krishna Katha. And I asked him, I said, so, by chanting and hearing Krishna Katha, one day we'll be able to see the Nitya Leela of Krishna. He said, oh yes. He said, but something even more wonderful. And I said, what is that? And he said, you'll be able to see who you are in Krishna's Nitya Leela. You'll be able to see what seva you do to Krishna. You will understand all these things. So this great gift that Prabhupada gave so, indiscriminately to everyone, it can actually take us to that realm. And he just gave it. If we reflect back on our beginning days in Krishna consciousness movement, what the temples were like, we were all like very different, strange people. We didn't come from cultured Indian backgrounds. We didn't come from, here we have many Eastern Europeans, Central Asians, Russians, Ukrainians. Do you know in those countries they have and Maharaj from Hungary, naturally very conservative, old European culture with high values. We came from America. We were not good people. We were born in families where they taught us everything bad were the good things and all the good things were bad things. Yet Prabhupada didn't care. Prabhupada gathered so many people, and so many of them were absolutely insane. Prabhupada didn't care. So many of them had so many different types of crazy attachments. Prabhupada didn't care. Prabhupada just said, please chant and please engage in Krishna's devotional service. And please help me to spread this message throughout the world. Prabhupada had infinite capacity to love. Prabhupada had boundless oceans of compassion, and Prabhupada had limitless humanity for everyone. Srila Prabhupada was not an acharya who was stuck in a historical framework. Srila Prabhupada was a person who was empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a person whose eyes could see beyond what we could see. He was a person who undoubtedly, from the moment he put the foot on that boat to come to America, he knew that he wanted everyone to become intensely in love with Krishna. Regardless of where they were from, regardless of what color they were, regardless of what faith they were, regardless of what caste they were, he wanted everybody just to love Krishna madly. And he came, and he did it. He had that big desire to serve his spiritual master. He had that big desire to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did it. Another gift that Srila Prabhupada gave us were the confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the confidential knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, the confidential knowledge of Chaitanya Charitamrita. He gave it, he said, please, take these books. When I sat for my Brahmin initiation in 1972, I think, in Henry Street in New York, Srila Prabhupada gave class in the morning. And Prabhupada was having the devotees chant the verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And many of the devotees were not chanting so nicely. And Srila Prabhupada said, why don't you chant nicely? Why don't you learn what is in these books? And Srila Prabhupada made the comment, I did not write these books just for selling. I wrote these books so that you would study the confidential knowledge of Krishna. Because if you know a person, you can love a person. If you don't know a person, you may fall in love with the face. Too much of that happens in society today. You may fall in love with the body. Too much of that happens in society. And then there's separation. But if you know a person, and you know how ideal that person is and how wonderful that person is, you'll fall in love and you'll never fall out of love. So therefore, Prabhupada, he just pushed this principle that Krishna presents when he first speaks about bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, what is it? Maya shakta manaha parta yoga yundan marashraya asamsayam samagramam yatagnyasya touch renew. Touch renew. Prabhupada drilled us with this principle, always hear from me. And in his purport, Srila Prabhupada, he derides, certain people who say, touch, renew. It means Arjuna was right there with Krishna, and he could hear directly from Krishna. Prabhupada said, no, that's not what it means. It means hear from Krishna and hear from Krishna's pure devotees. Hear from Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada gave us that big chance to always be hearing Krishna Katha, either from Krishna or great saints or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or our Goswamis. Always hear about Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada, he blessed us with a special gift. And that's the gift of Vaishnava Sangha. The gift of Vaishnava Sangha and the gift of Vaishnava Seva. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, service to the feet of the Vaishnavas are the tender roots of the creeper of divine love. Did everyone hear that? Service to the feet of the Vaishnavas is the tender root of the creeper of divine love. How wonderful a gift he gave us, to have one another, to know you've got a friend. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. That's what real Vaishnava Sangha is like. And Srila Maharaj, he mentioned that in Srila Prabhupada's recording of Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha, when he sings the old recording, And when he hits that line, Tarira chanana seva bhakti sanivas, chaname janami hoye, Prabhupada's voice cracks. And he starts to cry. That's how important Vaishnava Sangha was to Srila Prabhupada. I'll share an anecdote, and all of you have heard me tell this anecdote before, so forgive me, but I'm going to say it again. 1977, I was the cook in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And we used to cook on wood, and we were like big pots, black soot on the outside, you know, and I was in there moving the pots back and forth and cooking, and I was determined that I had to cook nicely for the devotees because the devotees were sick. And I had to cook tasty prasad so the devotees would be happy and the devotees would be healthy. And I would come out of the kitchen so black. And I had to go and I'd grab my... Here in Gujarat, you had this Nirmal soap. Nirmal soap. I used to get a bar of Nirmal laundry soap and a brush, and I used to scrub myself till I became white again. And then I'd walk over to Srila Prabhupada's room, because in his final days, Srila Prabhupada's doors basically were always open. It was like the beginning of ISKCON, his door was always open. Any crazy could walk into Srila Prabhupada's room and just sit down and start speaking crazy for an hour, and Prabhupada would just sit and patiently listen to him. He'd say, chant Hare Krishna. But when he became world acharya and he was just pumping books out, he was on such a strict schedule, you know, it was impossible for, you know, a foot soldier like myself to go in and see Srila Prabhupada. But in the end, it was open. So I finished my scrub, dressed myself, put tilak. I went over to Srila Prabhupada's room, and lo and behold, the door was locked. So I figured Srila Prabhupada must have been having a bad day. You know, Prabhupada really, he was terribly diminished in his health. And then I turned and I saw Srila Prabhupada's beloved god brother. And his name was Srila Akshina Krishna Das Baba. And Prabhupada told us the only thing that this Vaishnava is attached to is Krishna's holy name. It's even said one time he was feeling ill. They took Babaji Maharaj to the doctor. The doctor put the stethoscope on Babaji Maharaj's heart, and the doctor went, "Whoa!" He said, all I can hear is Hare Krishna maha-mantra. That's how attached he was to Krishna's holy name. Prabhupada told us he was the Paramahansa Vaishnava. So Babaji Maharaj was standing there. And naturally I made dandavats. And I took dust from his lotus feet and I put on my head. And then I said, Maharaj, what seva? And he said, I want to see Prabhupada immediately. I said, okay. So I ran in through the back gate of the guest house, through Prabhupada's garden. And I went up to Prabhupada's room. I looked in, Srila Prabhupada was laying on his bed. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was sitting next to him. And so I offered obeisances. Whenever we'd go into Prabhupada's room, we would offer obeisances. And then I went up to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and I said, Maharaj, Babaji Maharaj is outside and he wants to see Prabhupada immediately. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj leaned over to Babaji, to Srila Prabhupada. He he said, Srila Prabhupada, and he used to address Srila Prabhupada, your divine grace. He used to just so respectfully love and serve Srila Prabhupada. He said, your divine grace, Babaji Maharaj is outside, he wants to see you immediately. Srila Prabhupada said, bring him immediately. So then I ran out and I grabbed Babaji Maharaj. I said, please come. And we went into the room. Tamal Krishna Maharaj hopped off the bed and Babaji Maharaj just sprang up on the bed next to Srila Prabhupada. And they gave one another pranam. And then I was thinking, I stayed right at the headboard of the bed, and I was thinking, oh my God, Krishna's giving me too much mercy today, because today I'm seeing two pure devotees of the Lord with my eyes. What will they do? What lesson will I get today? So what did they do? What they did is they started telling jokes to one another. And Babaji Maharaj would crack a joke and Prabhupada would be laying on his bed holding his stomach going, and then Prabhupada would say something very witty and Babaji Maharaj would go, Hare Krishna. Then Babaji Maharaj would crack another joke, and then at a certain point Prabhupada would, Tadira charana seva bhakta sanivas, janame hoy eyavilas. My only desire, this is Narottam Das, my only desire is to live in the association of the Vaishnavas, birth after birth, and serve their lotus feet. And that a little bit caught Babaji Maharaj in surprise, but he came back with another joke. Prabhupada replied with another joke. Babaji Maharaj told another joke. And then Prabhupada went, Tadira charana seva bhakta sanivas, janame hoy eyavilas. And I said, that's it. That's the jewel that I was meant to see today. That's the lesson that I got from the pure devotees. Always stay in the Vaishnava Sangha. And in Vaishnava Sangha, do what? Serve the lotus feet. It doesn't matter if it's a rich Vaishnava or a poor Vaishnava, or a skinny Vaishnava or a fat Vaishnava, or a beautiful Vaishnava or somebody is ugly. Serve the lotus feet. He doesn't say, I want to live in the association of the Vaishnavas and criticize Vaishnavas. He doesn't say, I want to live in the society of Vaishnavas and see the obvious faults that we all have as conditioned souls and just talk about that stuff all the time. He said, I want to live in the association of Vaishnavas and I want to serve Vaishnavas. And I want to serve Vaishnavas without any offense. And through that, Srila Prabhupada, I should say, that's always been sort of like a North Star. I haven't been so good at it. And I should say in my older years, I'm trying to become better. But live with people. They may look different. They may act different. They may speak different. But they're coming to Krishna. Don't criticize. Please, dear devotees, don't do this. Srila Prabhupada didn't teach us to criticize. Srila Prabhupada taught us how to love. And then I should say that one of the most wonderful gifts that Srila Prabhupada gave us was that he gave us an idea. He gave us an aspiration. Regardless of where we're at now, one day we have the potentiality, if we keep the sangha, if we chant the mantras, maha-mantra, if we do everything correctly, potentiality is there that one day we will meet Radha and Krishna in the groves of Vrindavan. Pratita kripaya Shri Gurun Tandatosmi. Meeting Radhika and Madhava in the groves of Vrindavan and being able to serve them there with love. So I'm thankful to all of you all, and I'm really thankful that my friend Shivaram Swami Maharaj has been here. We've been friends since we met. That was 53 years ago. 53 years ago. I don't know how it works. He's such a cultured, conservative gentleman, and I'm such a wild man. But somehow or other, it's worked. That's why I sent him a message a while ago. I think it irritated him. But we were talking about different things, and I said, although it's like this, we're still together. So really, I think it's love. So I'm thankful to Maharaj, I'm thankful to all of you. And now I'd just like to close. Really, none of us older devotees who are acting in this capacity as spiritual master, none of us really relish having our feet washed or hearing glorification of ourselves, because devotees don't like to hear glorifications of themselves. So that part of the program I'd like to conclude. I'd like to conclude speaking about our generation. But for a moment, I'd like to speak about the generation that has come forth from us and has come forth from our God brothers. And what that is all of you. All wonderful Vaishnavas who are practicing Krishna consciousness. All wonderful Vaishnavas who, according to your individual Shakti, you're sharing the message of Krishna with others. I'd like to thank our Subal Sham. He's such a inspirational devotee, and he's inspired. He's been part of the Pandava Sangh since the very beginning. He's inspired devotees. He's inspired so many devotees. Thank you, Subal Sham. I'd like to thank all the other seniors of Surat Yatra. Very beautiful elder devotees over here, empowered speakers, wonderful Vaishnava Sangha here. We have Pandava Sangh, we have Veshu, is that correct? We have the Radha Damodar, is it? Radha Damodar temple. Radha Shamsundar. So many wonderful Vaishnavas. And something else. I want to thank with as much appreciation and love that I can muster from my heart. I'd like to thank all of these people. I'd like to thank Achyuta Gopi. I'd like to thank Keshava. I'd like to thank Smita and Sharad Bihari. I'd like to thank Giriraj. I'd like to thank Yogi and Ananda. I'd like to thank Kṛṣṇa. They've taken up Harinam. They may not look like our generation. Some of them may have some hair on their face. Some of them may have some big hair on their head. They may look differently than our traditional going on the street and playing drums and doing Harinam. But they are so dedicated and so deep. And our Kirtan-premi is, I don't know if he's here or not. Thank you, Kirtan-premi. He's a Brajabasi. He's born in Vrindavan, grown up in ISKCON, spreading love all over the world through Harinam. Achyuta Gopi spreading love all over the world through Harinam. Yogi Ananda spreading love all over the world through Harinam. Kṛṣṇa spreading love throughout the world through Harinam. Maybe they don't look the same as us, but their hearts are so pure and their intent in giving people the pure name of Krishna is so profound. Thank you so much. It just, you know, here goes the emotional old man again. Yeah. You know, Shiva Maharaj and I were coming down this morning, and just before we came in, he looked at me and he said, "Isn't it good news that we won't be having to do too many more of these things?" Meaning, you know, we're in the departure lounge and we're waiting for our flights to get called. But this next generation, they're holding on to Harinam. And when we're gone someplace else, this generation is still going to be here spreading Harinam for another 50 years minimum. And I just pray, you know, to Srila Prabhupada that your taste for the philosophy of Krishna consciousness grows in proportion to your taste for chanting Nam Sankirtan, so that when you give people Nam Sankirtan, there'll be a profound result each and every time. Just like we've had here at this festival. Each and every kirtan has been an otherworldly experience. It's really been otherworldly. Like last night when Shadid and Smita were singing, it just like something happened. I don't know what it was. It was like pure holy names going out in this whole, it was like jazz club type stuff going on, but holy name was going on. When Kirtan-premi opens his mouth, I always feel shivers going up and down my spine, you know. When Yogi and Ananda, I see Ananda sitting there and just his eyes closed playing mridanga. He could like play mridanga forever. And Yogi could sing forever. When I see Yogi accompanying Achyuta Gopi, and Achyuta Gopi is lost in telling us beautiful kathas of Krishna, and Yogi is sitting there and he's like doing the most insane stuff on the harmonium. When I see Giriraj drenched from head to foot in sweat from playing mridanga, my heart jumps. I'm saying, these people, they're the generation that was created from our generation. I mean, there's so many who were created, but because I have some special affinity for Harinam, our generation created this generation. Hari Narayan, just a young boy Hemagori, you know, all of you. Krishna Lila, sitting there just like in samadhi, playing on his guitar. Our Govinda playing flute, carrying Harinam into the future. Please just make sure you're as grounded in the philosophy as you are in the Harinam, so it will always be a real experience for people. And to all of you, all of my disciples, you've all been so kind to me. Please also, grounded in philosophy, grounded in Harinam. Whatever Shakti you have in your life, use that for spreading the glories of Krishna Katha and spreading the glories of Harinam Sankirtan. So thank you all very much. I've already spoken too long. I'm very grateful that you have come here together. Please, everybody, if like my disciples or any of my friends, if you want to do something to please me, since we're in Surat, you can give diamonds. But something better than diamonds. Each of you in your lives carefully look at Srila Prabhupada and you analyze the way Prabhupada was. And every day you try to become a little more like that. Every day you think his capacity for loving people is unlimited. Please let me try to love somebody more. Let me try to be kinder to people. Start from that. Just everybody be more kind. Kindness doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't cost you a paisa. It doesn't cost you a kopeck. I don't know what they call the little ones in Hungary. It doesn't cost you a florent. It doesn't cost you anything. Just be more kind. Be compassionate to people. Give them the knowledge of Krishna consciousness if they're ready for the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And if they're not, just give them a pat on the back so they make it through the day. And please, everybody, don't discriminate. Don't think that one person is qualified, another person is not qualified. Have that samadristi that the Lord speaks about in the Bhagavad Gita. See everybody as equal and understand the best thing I can do is to help them to come to the spiritual platform of life and to engage in Krishna's devotional service. Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Now we're supposed to have Vaishnava initiation ceremony, and we're going to do this very quickly. And then there's supposed to be a lovely dance by one of my oldest, not oldest, well, not that she's old, but she's an older disciple of mine. And then something, I think, then prashad. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.